Hi, this is Brooke, Conversations with Brooke. So today we're going to talk about the wounded child, and we're going to talk about how it comes up, how to begin to heal it, and we're just going to kind of dive into, you know, how those issues arise. And this kind of came from a conversation that I ended up having with my daughter. I'm very close with my kids, which has come from a lot of work of creating and building really strong relationships with them. It was something that I absolutely made as a mission coming out of what I came out of. With as strained as my relationship was with my parents, and coming out of the cult, me and my kids had really strained relationships, and there was, a long time where I was not there for them in a lot of ways, and there was a long time where I was a really abrasive parent, and I guess I'm giving myself the word abrasive instead of abusive because I was very short with my kids, and there was times that I said a lot of things that I wish I hadn't said. So coming out of that pain, one of the things I decided I was going to do was to create a really good relationship, which I have now. And my kids come to me with a lot of different things, regardless of what it's about, whether it's about relationships or work or just life, money, all that kind of stuff. They come to me and I help them get through the situation. But there was a lot of things in there that I had to learn how to do. I had to learn how to be there for them. I had to learn how to drop my shit. And so this is one that people ask me about all the time. And this is one of the biggest things. If I could give everybody a tool that I think would be incredibly valuable for you, learning how to love unconditionally when we're talking about our children. And I think that we all think that we do that, and I think there's a lot of times that we don't. So what do I mean by that? When you have children, you have a lot of expectations. You have a lot of dreams and ideas about what you want for them. But if you could just map down the top, 3 to 5 things you want when you have a baby, there's like 3 to 5 things that you want. You want them to be happy in their life. You want them to be good, strong people. You want them to love. You want them, there's like these key things that we all want, like this embodiment when you have kids that you want for them. Most of that comes from them having life experience. Unfortunately, what we do is we dictate how that's supposed to be. So instead of being there and giving our kids the tools that they need, we impart our wishes on them and we try to prevent them from having pain. We can't prevent our children from having pain. Your children are going to go through pain because that's what life is some of the time. There's this experience with life that a part of it is going to be painful, and we grow from the pain. So the best we can do as parents is help them to navigate that and help love them unconditionally so that when they go through these things that they can learn how to deal with it. Our kids are going to go through breakups and relationship stuff. You can't stop them. You can't teach them how to be with a perfect person so that they never have to navigate this shit. The only thing you can do is you can teach them how to deal with pain and love and how to do it in a way that they can feel really strong in who they are as a person, so that when they walk away, they know that they did what they were supposed to do and what they could do that's going to help them grow into the best version of themselves. So having a conversation, if I'm telling a story, there's 7 other stories in between. Having a conversation with my daughter, and I'm not going to go into the details about that because I don't share her. I'll share my life, but I won't share as much about hers. One of the things, she has a lot of different things that comes up that she gets upset about from when she was a kid because she experienced a lot of stuff too. And what I shared with her is that, there are normal. So from a parenting perspective, to help your child get through something, That means that my daughter needs to be able to come to me and share with me her pain and it not be about my pain. Because if I go into my pain every time my daughter has a conversation with me, then it's about me all of a sudden. It has nothing to do with what I'm trying to help her through. Now, I know that kind of sounds like what I'm doing, but I'm really just trying to illustrate where I'm coming from. But so to help her through her pain, I have to be able to help her, give her the tools that she needs so that she can heal and grow and get through this situation, which also means that I don't go into some immediate defensiveness about my parenting when she's upset. I know there was mistakes made. So my goal is just to be there as her mother to help her now, because I can't go back and change all of that. And if I get into my guilt about everything again, I'm not being there for her now. And so to be there for your kid means that you don't go into all of your bullshit about what you did or didn't do as a parent when they have something come up about what they're going through. So she was discussing this different stuff and what I talked to her about, and I told her, and just to be totally clear, I had a hard time with Christmas this year. I realized that I have a hard time with Christmas a lot of years. And I was really upset, and I felt angry at a couple different people in my family, and I was trying to figure out on Christmas Day why I was upset. And a couple people asked me what was wrong because it was obvious that I wasn't ideal. I'm usually a pretty happy person. So if I'm not like that, people are like, "Are you okay?" No, I'm not. But for the sake of Christmas, and because I hadn't really figured out why I was upset, I decided that I was going to, for me, it's a big deal to spend time contemplating and meditating on what's going on with me so that I don't spill out on other people that it doesn't belong to. That is something that I try incredibly hard not to do. It's important for me. I don't like to dump on people. I have people in my life that are there for me that I can rely on, who will talk me through situations, who will hear me cry and hear me kind of go through the motions on what I'm trying to navigate. But I have a big thing about not dumping on people, especially when it doesn't belong to them. So Christmas Day, I was having a difficult time, and so I ended up going home, and I began kind of diving into what was wrong with me. And I will journal. I think journaling is a really good tool. And honestly, one of the things that came up for me is some different stuff that happened when I was a kid. When I was a kid, there was a lot of things growing up in a cult that we were promoted to do. And one of them was this idea that, to not be into blood. And what that looked like is in the part of it that was a blessing, it means that you take in people regardless of who they are and you love them. You love them like you would love your family. So that's a beautiful part of it. The dysfunctional part of it, which was promoted and abusive, was the place where there was a girl that came into our life who was a foster kid. She was incredibly dysfunctional and probably needed a lot more professional help than she could have ever gotten in my family. So because she came in, I was 12 years old and she was 14, so she was actually older than me too. And when she came in, because of all this dysfunctional shit, I was asked, because I was considered to be more spiritually aware, because I had been growing up in what I had grown up in longer than she had, to give up Christmas for her. So what that meant is I wasn't going to get anything for Christmas, and we would go spend what would have been spent on me on her. Now, at the time, we lived collectively, financially. So it wasn't just my family, it was a bunch of other families that all financially were merged together. So at the same time, that meant every other girl that was my age got a huge Christmas. And we did huge Christmases. So every girl got a huge Christmas, and then because I was a helper that year, instead of getting anything, I also wrapped everybody's Christmases. So not only did I help in some of the shopping and everything else, but I also wrapped everybody's Christmases. At the time, I wanted to do it because I thought that it was the most spiritually something at the time. I was 12 years old. I didn't fucking know any. I didn't know very well. Realistically, I ended up coming out of that situation feeling like I wasn't important. And because I felt like I wasn't important, still at 40-something years of age, I end up having these moments during Christmas where I feel like I'm not important. And realistically in my life, there's all these different parts of me that I'm like, there's nothing that I want, but I get into this moment about what I get for Christmas, and I all of a sudden put this, it's like I'm still this hurt kid. And it still comes up for me. And then I get into this moment that I should have gratitude because we're all raised in, to be grateful for what we have because we're blessed in a million different ways. But because I've never let myself just be upset and be hurt about the fact that I didn't feel like I was valued when I was a kid and I didn't get what I needed or wanted or whatever, or because I gave something up that I didn't feel like I should have had to give up, I get fucking stuck. And that's what we end up doing. So we end up having these emotions that pour out to other people because of bullshit that happened 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, this is almost 30 years ago. To have 30 years of a fucking experience that still haunts me to this day, and I even think it's kind of funny, but that's the way things are. That stuff stays with you until you figure out how to process it. And that is going to come up for me Christmas after Christmas after Christmas until I let that stuff go and learn how to process it in a way that actually helps me release it. And honestly, this is the first year that I've actually spent the time to acknowledge how hurt I was by that situation when I was a kid, having to give up a Christmas to somebody who was older than me and who also wreaked a shit ton of havoc in my life. And I'll talk about her at another video, but we're going to just keep it minimum on this one. I mean, she was a druggie, she was an alcoholic, she was a liar, she had an incredibly horrible childhood. So when she came into my family, she was just horrible. She was horrible. And so feeling like I had something taken away from me because of that situation and still trying to figure out how to enjoy my holiday. And it doesn't really matter that it took away from this holiday. It's how can I heal this situation so it doesn't take away from future holidays. So that's one of the things that healing does. When you commit yourself and commit to the fact that you're going to heal over something, even if it is the 85th fucking time that it comes up for you, even though you're upset that you have to go through it again, even though it sucks, it's the most responsible thing to do because honestly, it's nobody else's fucking bullshit other than your own. And I don't mean it in a demeaning way about it being bullshit, but like this is my pain. This has nothing to do with anybody else who was at my mom's on Christmas. And I could have gone off about this person being this way and this person being this way, but that's me reflecting out my upset about Christmas, which had nothing to do with anybody except for this hurt kid that I haven't worked on healing. So I was talking to my daughter about this because she had some stuff come up about things that happened when she was a child that she still feels stuck in. And so I was sharing with her this moment that I also had because it's important to me that my daughter doesn't continue to live in that moment. It's important to me that I don't continue to live in that moment. And so how do you heal this? How do you heal the hurt child inside of you? And there's a couple different ways to begin to do it. So here's one of the things I tell everybody to do. First off, write to that person that you want to punch in the face. I know I sound like an incredibly deep and spiritual person because of the way that I talk, and I am. So um, I'm just really trying to be incredibly open and honest about it. Like write to the person that you feel hurt by. It could be your parents. It could be somebody who came in who you feel like took something from you. It could be any number of people. Write to them. When you write, it actually releases. So energy can only be transferred. So the way that you have to, you carry these emotions in your body. And it doesn't matter if it's an emotion from when you were 12 years of age. That's still held in your cells inside of your body. There's scientific proof about it. Go look up Joe Dispenza if you want to learn more. The only way to begin to get rid of some of that stuff is to find a way to release it. Writing does that. When you write, whether you're writing about things that you love or you're writing about things that you're angry about, it transfers that energy. It transfers that energy out of your body through your arm and onto the paper. So some people like, how does that work? It's like, well, it doesn't matter how it works. You just need to know that it does. So if you've ever been a kid or if you have kids, you've probably written a I love you note to your parents, or you've probably gotten one if you have children. A little note that, or a card for a holiday, and your parents hold on to them forever. I still have ones that my kids wrote. I have one that my son wrote me, and it was the first time he ever wrote I love you on a note. And he wrote, I love you, Mom. And I still, tears me up to think about it because it's just this most amazing thing. It's one of the most like amazing little keepsakes I have. I keep that because there's love in that. But the same way you can transfer your pain and your anger onto paper, and it may not happen in one note. It might take you more than once to write about it, depending on the depth of that experience. But the more that you write about it, the more you're going to be able to let that experience go. Here's the other one. This one's really important too. It is not anybody else's job to help to heal us. We can have people who help teach us things that increase our healing. We can have people that lead us. We can have people that guide us. We can have people that support us. But you are your own best advocate for your healing experience. And you are the one who has to do the work on a regular basis. So you are the one who has to write on a regular basis. But you're also the one who has to meditate and who has to go back to that kid. And there's a meditation, and I'll put it in the link. But one of the next things that's really valuable to do is that during your meditation is you want to imagine yourself going back to that hurt child and pulling them in and telling them that it's okay and telling them that you're there for them now and telling them that if there's something that they didn't get when they were younger, that you're going to help them to have that now, and telling them that it's okay because you're an adult now and that pain is healed, and telling them that you're there for them to give them what they didn't get, and telling them everything they need to hear from you. Everything that you needed to hear, you are going to tell that child, and you're going to give that to them fully. And you're going to embrace them, and you're going to bring them to where you are now and let them know that where you are now is that you're safe and that you have everything that you need because you can give it to yourself. Then, if you want to take it a step further, then in the same way that you bring that healing to that little child, you're also going to imagine your future self. Because you have a future self that's amazing. You have this version of you that is the 15 to 20 years down the road, or maybe just the 10 years down the road. And this person is there to support you and to heal you, because that person is so much farther than where you are right now. And that person is going to come back and they're going to embrace you right now and tell you that everything's going to be okay. and that everything that you need right now, they're there to help you with, and they're there to give you, and they're there to heal you, and they're there to bring you into where you need to be. That's how you begin to heal that inner child. And it doesn't matter if it's difficult, it just matters that you begin to do it. Because at the end of the day, you deserve to be here in the now and not be pulled back into the past to these negative experiences that you may have had. Because you deserve to be present in what's going on right now. You deserve to give that to others around you, and you deserve to be free. So, look forward to connecting with you and working with you. Make sure that you subscribe to the page, and also make sure that you check us out at 100yearsofbliss.com. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye-bye.